Good morning, Saints. Thank you for taking this time in Streams in the Desert. And my name is Ben Deshane. I'm an elder at CFC Madrid, and I'm going to be looking at Psalm 37 with you this morning. So it's a fairly long psalm. We're not going to try to read it all here right now, but I wanted to give you something to look for that maybe you could allow the Lord to speak to. And it's basically a reminding psalm for something deep down within us, because there's a tendency for us to play the short game. And what the psalmist is encouraging us to do is to play the long game. We are body, soul, and spirit, and we are one part physical and two part invisible. At this point, it's often our tendency in this life, in this side of eternity, to be envious. The psalm starts off and it says, "Do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb." It says, "Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land and feed on his faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart." There's an element to that goes all the way through this psalm of what seems like success right now doesn't end up being success later on. There's actually a proverb that says, there is a way that seems right to a man, and in the end is the way of death. So what we sometimes think is the right thing to do, God says, wait patiently on me. Let him be your defender. Let him be the one that comes to your defense. We're often tempted to take, the shortcut. Jesus, during his earthly ministry, when he first started, he was tempted. He was tempted by the devil in the wilderness. And in Matthew chapter 4, he says, in verse 8, it says, "Again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." The very thing Jesus came to recapture, the lost authority that Adam and Eve had in the garden when they ate the forbidden fruit and broke covenant with God. To recapture this was the main purpose why Jesus became flesh. And here the devil's offering him a shortcut. And he says, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." There's temptations we all have because of our temporalness, to defend ourselves, to compare ourselves. And the psalmist is saying, play the long game. Play the long game. Verse 23, it says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hand." There is an invisible help that we have when we wait on the Lord. We may fall, but we have help. "I have been young," it says in verse 25, "and now am old, and yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken." So the psalmist is sharing his wisdom with us. Look, I've been around the block, and you know what? The righteous, they don't get left out. His descendants, they don't end up begging bread, it says in later on in the verse. He is ever merciful and lends, and his descendants are blessed. There's a certain quality to these people. They wait on the Lord. They're generous. The evil, they borrow and they don't even pay back. There's a difference in the quality of life that we live. And we live it because our eye is on the long game. If you've ever watched some of those long rows that get harrowed up right now by farmers, they don't pick a spot like 10 feet in front of the cab to get that straight line. They pick a spot way across the field to keep it tracking straight. And you and I need to have that same thought and that same vision to be able to play the long game, not try to defend ourselves, but to wait on the Lord, to wait patiently for Him. And I hope that you will not take the bait, not take the short game, not be tempted to compare yourself or look at somebody else's supposed measured success, and take the admonition of this Psalm 37. So as you go through it, look for those words, look for the contrast, and I pray you be blessed.